Hello everybody, welcome to, I'm going to try and do a few kind of how-to videos on how to kind of improve or how to kind of go through the writing and the speaking questions for the GCSE Edexcel Spanish paper. So in this video, I'm going to go through how I would approach the first question of the writing paper, which is the photo card question. So as you might remember, the photo card question will look something like this. I'm just going to share my screen. So this is an example of a photo card question that you might get. So as you can see here, it says describe the photo and give your opinion on recycling. So the photo is obviously about recycling. It's theme 5, which is bringing the world together. So the environment. I will always ask you, describe the photo and give your opinion on something related to the topic. So when we're describing a photo, we always use our acronym, which is PALMS. So it's really, really quite a good thing to remember, just like this acronym. I really find it useful to remember acronyms. So PALMS stands for people, action, location, mood, and season/weather if it's an outside photo. So when we talk about people, it's how many people, that's a really easy way. How many people, how they look effectively. So what are they wearing? Men, women, children, family, etc. Action is what is happening in the photo. What are they doing? So using a verb in the present continuous. So for example, if you were trying to say they are eating, you would say están comiendo. If it's he or she is eating, it would be está comiendo. So verb in the present continuous. Location, where they are they in an obvious place, or they might be in a park, or they might be in a garden, they might be in a restaurant, something like that. So where they are. Mood, how they look in the photo. So if there's people in the photo, for example, what they look like, how they are. So emotions, etc. And then if it's an outside photo, it's season and weather. So your weather phrase is really important. So how would I approach this question here? So I would always start, I'm going to draw a little text box. So I can show you how I would do it. So for the first part of the question, I would always start with a kind of where you're looking. So instead of just starting hay dos mujeres or something like that, I would start with en la foto hay. You could also use a bit more of a more kind of advanced one. Sorry about the noise. En la foto se puede ver, you can see, or en la foto where veo is I see. So I'm going to use this for this one because I know everybody uses en la foto hay. I'm going to use for my question, I'm going to use en la foto se puede ver. So I'm going to use my PALMS kind of acronym. So I'm going to say, I think I'm going to use for this one, people, the restrictions of people, location and mood, because I think those are the easiest ones to go through from this video, from this photo. So I'm going to say, how many people have we got? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 personas. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 mujeres y 3 hombres. So already for this part of the question, for the description, we only need 20 to 30 words. So we've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 words. If you all we've done is just say there's 7 people, there's 4 women and 3 men. But I'm going to go a little bit more advanced. So I'm going to put where they are. So I would say I'm going to start with my diría que, which is one of your opinion starters. I would say that están en un parque, where they are. So when we talk about location in Spanish, we don't use, if you're saying they are, we always use está or están. So if we're talking, even if we're talking about a place, for example, we say está en el norte de Inglaterra or está en Barnsley, for example. So we've got diría que están en un parque. And then I'm going to add a bit about the mood in the photo. So as you can see, they all look quite happy to be there. So I'm going to put en mi opinión, parecen felices. So in my opinion, they appear happy. However, you could also put, instead of parecen, if it's a bit difficult to remember, you could put son felices, they are happy. But parecen is a little bit more advanced. So, and that's they appear or they are happy. And remembering we're always agreeing our adjective with like the people. So for example, if it was one person, you would say feliz with a Z. But because it's more than one person, it's in the plural, you would say felices with an ES on the end and the C as well. So already I can see that I have, even I don't know what I could say about action. I know they're doing something, I know they're collecting rubbish, but I know that I don't know how to say that in a advanced way, or I wouldn't be able to get that off the top of my head. So picking two or three of these kind of PALMS acronym bullet points and using those to describe the photo. Now, so I've got already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 words. So I've already kind of gone over my word limit for that, that kind of section of the description. It doesn't have to be as complicated as that. All it has to be is accurate. Simple phrases done right is how you get marks, because you know, you're not having to write the Bible in Spanish. All you have to do is describe what's in the photo. And I've written a little bit more than you might do, just because I know a bit more. I'm trying to give you some options of what you could do. So then I've got to give my opinion. So I've got to give my opinion on recycling. So I'm going to start with one of my opinion starters. And I'm going to start with a bit of a convoluted one, a bit of a complicated one. So I'm going to say, from my point of view, which is desde mi punto de vista. Then I'm going to use one of my lovely opinion phrases. So I'm going to say, me mola, I love, el reciclaje. I love recycling. Do you know what? Like, even if it's not true, I do like recycling, but even if it's not true, I'm going to write that. Me mola el reciclaje. Now I could justify that opinion with por qué, but I want to do better than that. So I'm going to write, dado que, given that, es muy útil, very useful. So again, using one of those intensifiers, not just saying it's useful, but saying it's very useful or it's quite useful, in which case you would write bastante. But I'm going to stick with muy because I like it. Bastante, dado que es muy útil. And I'm going to add a little bit. I'm going to add another justification, but with another opinion phrase. So I'm just like, quiero, I want, and then that's always followed by an infinitive. Quiero proteger el mundo. I want to protect the world. So you don't have to go as fancy and kind of ambitious as that, okay? But this, I would say this is more than you should write. I could probably have stopped after the word útil here, but if I want to get top marks, and I know that I'm securing my knowledge of these phrases, I'm gonna write them because it hasn't taken me much longer. I know it's accurate, and I know that writing more quality stuff is going to help me get the top marks in this question. So I'm going to show you now the mark scheme for this paper, for this question. So I'm going to just share my screen again, and I'm going to show you the mark scheme. This is the same for this paper, like all the time, and we basically have to decide what mark you get out of what we don't decide. Obviously, the examiner decides, but we're going to, I'm going to have a quick look. So I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to show you the mark scheme for this question. So it's out of 12 marks. So as you can see, students' work is marked by Pearson using assessment criteria in 2 mark grids. So it's got 1 mark out of 6 for communication and content, effectively what you write, and linguistic knowledge and accuracy, how accurate, how correct your language is. Okay, so as you can see, the 5 to 6 band would be simple sentences with some linking. Now, I would say that's not tricky. There's some linking. As long as you put an e in there, or a pero, or a porque, linking your sentences, not just saying es interesante, es some simple sentences. A small selection of straightforward grammatical structures refers successfully to present events, and there's occasionally errors that hinder clarity of communication. So what it says, the errors that hinder clarity of communication are ones that make writing difficult to understand immediately. So if I can decipher your writing, but it takes me a little while, I know what you want to say, that would be an error that would hinder clarity. And then also, and you want to make sure that it's clear what you want to say to the examiner. So not writing complicated, convoluted, fluent phrases. It's writing good, simple phrases accurately. And then the communication and content mark says relevant information with occasional extra detail. So relevant information, obviously, you're not going to describe a completely different photo. You're going to describe the same photo. And if it's asked for your opinion on recycling, you're not going to write your opinion about going out with friends. Use language gives short descriptions, simple information, and opinions with some success. So even if you get it in there, a justified opinion, me gusta el reciclaje porque es interesante. That is one of the simplest phrases that you can write, and it's still right, it's still accurate. And then give some simple information. You don't have to write the people's life stories. All you have to do is just say, there are 7 people, they look happy. So that is how you would do that. Learn your kind of phrases, your kind of stock phrases for a photo card, and kind of commit them to your memory as well, because they are really useful. I think my year 11s last year decided that they love the phrase en la foto hay. So that is how I would approach that sort of question. I hope you found it useful, and I will show you how I would approach other questions in the writing paper, including the 8 to 90 word task, which is the killer, as we know. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you found it useful. Bye bye. Adios. Ciao.